Hello, everyone. Welcome to Navix Comic Review, and on today's episode, we're covering issue one of a comic I was not expecting to be as good as it does, especially considering the creative behind this. This is Corpse Knight issue one, written by Michael Chavez, as drawn by Matthew Roberts, and with colors by Rico Renzi. And those of you who are into the Conjuring universe might recognize the name Michael Chavez. He's the guy who did a whole bunch of those movies, including The Nun. And that was where my hesitation for like whether or not this book was going to be really that good or not came from, because I actually saw The Nun when it was in theaters and I thought it was all right. I thought the premise was good, but it just kind of felt a bit too tame for my liking in terms of a crazy R-rated horror movie. But I'm pleasantly surprised because he's definitely improved as a storyteller, or in a whole new medium. So yeah, let's just get to it. So, what exactly is Corpse Knight? Well, Corpse Knight is a story that takes place in the 1400s. It's during the Hundred Years' War, and it centers around a little girl named Foy and her father. And yeah, similar to the story of The Nun, and with a lot of Michael Chavez's works, there are elements of faith and religion that go combined with the supernatural. In this case, Foy's father tells her the story of Joan of Arc, how she prayed over a dead boy, a dead child, and they came back to life. And yeah, they have a sweet relationship until the gruesomeness of the comic comes. And Foy's father is killed by some ruffians, but though he does seem to put up one hell of a fight beforehand. And yeah, that's where a lot of my major praise comes from the comic. And you can definitely see why Michael Chavez, as a filmmaker, probably had a better time transitioning into the comic medium, because they're both visual mediums, as opposed to like some writers who start off writing in prose, who then transition to comics. I think Brett Meltzer's early work kind of had that like disconnecting feel. So yeah, Foy needs to go on after the horrific death of her father, but unfortunately, the same bandits that killed her find her place. They then decide they're going to kill her too because they're assholes. However, remembering what her father said, Foy prays, thanks for her father like Joan of Arc did for the child, and fortunately, or rather unfortunately for the bandits, it's Foy's father comes back to life. And yeah, the thing that once was her father does not hesitate. And he's basically like some crazy Frankenstein thing. And again, and kudos to the art team, because this shot right here, this double page spread, that's the moneymaker for the issue. And yeah, so yeah, the zombie that was Foy's father ends up killing the bandits, saving his daughter, though of course, or she obviously doesn't want him to stay like this. So that leads into the end of the issue with Foy's little monologue here. I don't know why God has done this to you, but I know someone who can help. You told me that anything is possible with enough faith, and she has more faith than anyone. We must find her before it's too late. We must find Joan d'Arc. And yeah, so the story is kind of like one of those intimidating / monster creature taking care of a little girl kind of story, although it's kind of flipped, because obviously Foy is more human than, well, her father, who seems to just be mostly monstrous except to protect her. And of course, we get this little message in the back about Michael Chavez's like his whole journey to make this comic, like, and how it was inspired when he was in France filming for The Nun 2. And despite what I said about how his talents clearly translate, according to him, it really wasn't in that much. It was a pretty hard transition, but I'd say, for what it's worth, this comic turned out to be a really good example. Oh, and a nice little bonus, we got a preview for Mask issue 1, which I am planning on reviewing when it comes out, but that's for later. For now, Corpse Knight issue 1 is an amazing first issue. issue. I think the creative team really did a good job here. Up here, I can definitely tell this series is going to be heartbreaking. At certain points, I'm definitely feel like I'm going to tear up at some point. If the story goes where I'm thinking, and if it pulls off, and if they pull it off well, and let this be a lesson to all you guys. Just because you're not impressed by someone's first work that you see doesn't mean they can never improve. Because yeah, I might have not cared for The Nun, for Michael Chavez's The Nun when it came out, but I am all on board for Corpse Night. I give this issue 1 a 5 out of 5. So thank you guys for watching. Subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you know when I'll cover the next issue. Until then, have a great day.